Hello, it is January 23rd, 1942, and we're back for another turn of War in the Pacific, our struggle against the Empire of Japan. Let's see what this turn has in store for us. Start out with some air night strikes, with my Liberators going after the base of Rabaul at low altitude, only doing a single supply hit, unfortunately not damaging any planes on the ground. We're on to a bombardment phase. I have sent some cruisers up from up from Sorayaba, up to Balikpapan to bombard his troops and airfield there. Bring the kitchen sink, some anti-aircraft cruisers, as well as the heavy hitters, and some destroyers. They're all bombarding, trying to do some damage there at that base. We'll see what happens. Good damage to his troops, but the runway hits are pretty disappointing. We're on to the air phase, it looks like. A couple reported hit submarines there. But right now we have this air phase with my fighters at Port Moresby being swept by his from Rabaul, but he just loses a 0. Taking a look here, one of these subs is detected by one of my Curtiss CW-777, which is a French dive bomber, export dive bomber, essentially. I think it's a export of the original SBC Helldiver, which was a biplane Helldiver in use, not the more commonly known monoplane Helldiver that came into service in 43. Any case, the CW-77s are at Port Moresby, so is one of these subs right here. And then, more interestingly, a SBC-4 Helldiver, which are on in service on my Burn-class carriers, as they were historically. The Burn actually picked up a load of SBC-4 Helldivers on the east coast of the United States, just before France surrendered and the Burn was interred in the Caribbean historically. In any case, that tells me that my carriers are reporting a surface contact here, it's reporting a destroyer, and hitting it. That's going to be happening right down here. So this could be a problem. I've got a carrier force here that's screening a landing at Espiritu Santo. I also have a battleship cover force here. I have a lot of carriers down here at Noumea. We'll see if we get any more strikes on this force right here. It really came out of nowhere. I did not have this destroyer task force on, if that's what it is. I didn't have this task force on my scopes previously. Hopefully it's on a carrier task force, because this little French carrier task force is not in the position to put up a good cap or take on a larger force. On to some bombing. I'm sweeping. I rested my Lightning squadrons, 2 of these AVG, American Volunteer Group Flying Tiger squadrons. I've rested them for quite some time, let them build up their airframes again, forcing them back because they were getting beat up in the skies above Bangkok. Let's see how they do now that they've had a chance to rest and recuperate. Looks like I am losing some Lightnings. That's not good to see. Oh yeah, 5 Lightnings destroyed. Not the kind of loss ratio I want. I did destroy 6 of his aircraft, but I'm losing pilots over Bangkok, very highly trained pilots over Bangkok, whereas he's losing planes over friendly Hex. And so he's not going to lose as many pilots. Not a good trade for me. We have a 2nd squadron go in. So, yeah, and it's taking damage as well. So, a little bit better. 4 down, only 1 Lightning destroyed that time. That's a loss ratio that I can be happy with. Still, really those are my only 2 Lightning squadrons that I have active right now. I don't have that many planes, so I really have to be careful with those losses. Can't be taking 5 losses a turn. These zeros, this sweep from Rabaul, is definitely a little bit more painful, and I'm losing some planes here from this 0 sweep. losing a lot of planes, it looks like. This looks very deadly. Oh yeah, only 1-0 destroyed, 9 of my fighters wiped out by the Zero Squadron. Looks like it came in at about 20,000 feet, so not super high altitude, but definitely able to dive on my fighters. I need to either move my fighters very low into a low layered cap, or move them high and try to get into an altitude battle with him, which I can't do with my Buffaloes, but I might be able to do with my French BR-697 heavy fighters. Some bombing over the Philippines, just like normal. I'm kind of nervous. I want to see what my carriers spotted down near Espiritu Santo, down south of the Solomons there. Yet another sweep there on Port Moresby. I'm going to need to ratchet up my air attacks on his airbase here and try to destroy some of those fighters on the ground, because I certainly cannot destroy them in the air, it looks like. So that's how it is, early game as the Allies. We just don't really have anything besides the P-38 that can go toe-to-toe with Zeros. They're fast, they're maneuverable, he has very skilled pilots right now, and I don't. So it's really a tough situation to be in, but that's okay. They're beating up Cyan again, preventing it from building forts. And some bombing over Singapore as well. Just like normal, just like he's been doing. Running a pretty aggressive bombing campaign. I'm losing a lot of planes to flak. I mean, I have to imagine over... We'll have to look at the totals, but over the past month or so, these bombing campaigns have to cause him a lot of pain in lost airframes. Again, another sadly destroyed right there in that bombing run. And it looks like a little fragmented sweep comes in here. And I trade a lightning for a 0. Not worth it for me. Another little fragment. And I just lose a lightning. So that tells me sweeping Bangkok, at least at this time, probably not a good strategy for me. I'm not destroying the airframes that I want to. Glynn's just doing a little bombing of Valley Pakpan here. If I come out ahead today in the air, which probably won't happen because of just the sheer numbers of fighters that I've lost. There goes another Buffalo. Oh, and another one. And a Brigou. 697. Ouch. 3 more fighters down to no gain. I was going to say, if I come out ahead, I'm not going to, but if it's remotely close to even, it'll be because these bombers lost us. Okay, so we have a carrier strike. These are my French carriers flying these SVC-4 Helldivers. They find what looks to be just a destroyer squadron, and I sink one of them. The other one takes just 1 bomb hit, but that's a pretty good performance against destroyers. I believe I have 4 of these French Bjorn-like carriers here. Doing a good job. We'll see if I get a PM strike as well. We're on to PM. Another hit on that remaining destroyer. Again, we're just skipping through the air combat. That doesn't look super interesting. More of my Helldivers come in, going after this remaining destroyer. Just 1 additional bomb hit. Probably not going to be able to sink it, but does show heavy fires, heavy damage, heavy smoke from fires obscuring the Yakumugo. I hear a ship sinking sound clip. I have an ASW patrol, a minesweeper here with some depth charges. Finds Japanese sub off the coast of Brisbane and fails to hit it with any depth charges, but did look like some were falling there. That's it for the air phase. We're on to ground combat. Start out at Cheongsa. He has a large force here. All his forces are very large. Mine, of course, is small in comparison. I think I have forts 3 here at Changsha. We'll see how my troops do. Outnumbered, and in honestly not very good terrain at Changsha here. Yeah, he gets 2-to-1 odds. I guess I had forts 4 here. He reduces them to 3. And I take heavy losses, though there's not as bad as they could be. 9 squads destroyed, 283 disabled of my combat squads, compared to 1 destroyed, 236 disabled. So it's not good for me, but he pays for it. And I don't think my troops are going to last too much longer here, just because he did reduce forts on his first attack. And again, the ratio is getting better, even if the losses themselves are pretty even. So I'll hopefully retreat across one of these rivers here into some better terrain. The goal has never been to hold on to Changsha for a long time, just a little bit of roadblock. My real defensive line starts south of Quyang here and stretches through all these hilly ports until hills and mountains until reaching kind of Cyan. And that's the defensive line I want to maintain, that I'm going to be trying to maintain. It's just a smaller area to defend and not so spread out, and again, better terrain. A beleaguered little tiny Chinese corps, only 8 AV, gets absolutely stomped by this stack of 1300 AV, 1400 AV, and the units destroyed. It'll come back in at Chungking in about 35 days. Bombardment attack south of Cyan here. Ooh, that 8th Route Army, just yesterday, before the attack yesterday, it alone had an AV of about 700, and now it's down to 300. And look at what he's brought, 6,709 AV. This is really worrisome. I only have about 2,000 AV in Cyan, behind level 3 forts. In Cyan, it's clear terrain. Looks like I'm going to get forced out of Cyan. Not great. We'll have to pull back into some of these mountain passes here. I have a unit right here. This is a key hex right here, where these 3 roads meet in the mountains. It's been building forts, but more is needed if I'm going to hold off this 6,700 AV. It's moving pretty quick too, right? I'm starting to get some of these units back in 35 days, but I don't think I have 35 days. So there's a chance he could push through and take Chungking and put China out of the game. If that happens, he rolls through toward Chungking. All my troops will start moving toward India. In case that happens. We'll see. And a bombardment attack. And here, he only has 750 AV. I have 920, definitely have the advantage. Not enough to attack, though. The terrain's too good. Have another bombardment attack here at Nanyang. Just take very small hex. A deliberate attack at Nanning. They've been trying to take this hex. They've been reducing the forts here. See what happens. Looks like a 1-to-1 attack. They reduced their forts all the way to 0. I had built them up. No, I guess I had built them up to 2. They lowered them to 1 last turn. Casualties are about even, a little bit in his favor. I have 56 disabled squads. He only has 36. And a bombardment attack at Manila. A lot of ground combat action going on today. Never much to say about bombardments. They just take a little while. 1200 to 800. He's not going to be able to take this hex right now. Only if he takes Clark first and moves in some additional AV. I bombard Samarinda, and I take some casualties, and he doesn't. We're down to 33 AV here. A lot of that is because, like I said before, I'm pulling out these squads to Sorayaba, where about half of the units are reconstituting here, and when he takes this hex, they'll just rebuild in Sorayaba. that looks like it for the turn. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the Discord. Take care, everybody.